Hey, what's up guys? It's your boy Chef K, and check this out. We're at our final episode. Yeah, that's right. We're 10 episodes in this season. And hey, I want to first of all thank our sponsors, Crowder Chiropractor, Treasures Jeweler, and Bluegrass Paint Consultants. Also, I want to thank those who came on board and just bought individual commercial spots. I want you to know that without you, we could not make this possible. And last but not least, I want to thank you. That's right, the viewers. Don't you know and realize without you, there is no Chef K. So hey, I want to thank you so much for being on board, and I've got a real special treat up for you today. Check this out. Here's our menu for today, and we're featuring total Ethiopian cuisine. First up, we've got lentil sambusa. Then we have gomenwat. And then we're going to do a kik alicha. Then we're going to do a salata, which is an Ethiopian style house salad. And then we're going to finish it off with tips for our carnivores, which is meat dishes that's featuring peppers, onions, and tomatoes. Hey guys, and I've got a really special treat for you to go along with this Ethiopian cuisine. I've got the traditional coffee ceremony that goes along with every Ethiopian dish. So you guys don't want to miss it. I've got my good friend Kadesh on deck, and she's going to show us exactly how you do it. Hey, let me tell you about my trip to Africa. A few months ago, I had the privilege of being a missionary in Ethiopia, Africa, and there I learned a lot about the culture, a lot about the people, and a lot about the food. And let me tell you, it is fantastic. Today I chose this menu because of its healthy choices and because of how lean it is. One of the things about this dish also is it is an appetizer that is usually eaten at the beginning of the meal. It's called a sambusa. Now you have different types of fillings for the sambusa, but because we're doing vegetarian today, we're going to just use a lentil we're going to do a lentil sambusa. But you can also use lamb, you can also use beef, and you can also use chicken. So what we're about to do now is we're about to go straight into this dish. And what's unique about this dish is it is not fried, it is actually baked. Here we have a phyllo dough, which you can purchase. It looks really flimsy and really pliable, which it is, but it's a great type of dough. I'm gonna go ahead and lay out some pieces like this. And don't worry, you know, again, I'm a rustic kind of chef, so I'm not really worried about too many clean lines. I just want really nice flavors. Now with this sambusa, you make sure what you have are rectangular shapes, and then you're going to place the filling inside, and then we're going to fold it as if we're folding a flag. Okay, and then that's how we're going to make our sambusa. Now what I really like about these sambusas is, again, it's no rhyme or reason. You just got to make sure you don't have any holes in it when you're doing the folding. And also there's plenty of different ways to make sambusas. You can make them into triangular shapes, you can do squares, and you can even do rolls as a spring roll style. So here I am, I'm going to do it again. I'm just bringing my ends over, folding it just like a flag. Don't worry about the extra or the excess. Gonna brush it with our extra virgin olive oil. Maybe cut off just a little bit of excess. This phyllo dough, when it cooks, is gonna be really crunchy. It's gonna be delicious. And that's why I chose this type of food, again, is because it's really healthy and it's gonna look really good. All right, we're gonna go into making just our last sambusa. I'm just gonna take it this way. Roll it. Just I want you guys to see the difference in just how you do your food and how you can mix it up. I'm gonna fold our ends in. This phyllo dough is quite brittle, but that's okay. We're not gonna sweat the small stuff. We're gonna keep rolling it just like that. All right, and then we're gonna place that in our pan. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna brush them all. We're gonna brush them with olive oil, and then we're gonna put them in an oven at about 375 because our filling is already warm, and we just want that phyllo dough to crisp up and get really crunchy. We're just gonna slide these right inside our oven. That's at 375. We're going into our second dish now. We're making alicha difin misir, which is basically lentils. We've got some curry, some turmeric, some cardamom, some salt, and a little cumin, some red onions, some ground fresh ginger and garlic with some olive oil. We're just gonna start first by sauteing the red onions in the olive oil, and then we're going to make a little stock, because I also have some vegetable stock that I'm going to add to this, because again, we're stewing, and part of stewing is where you add liquid to something and you cover it and you let all those flavors come together to create this dish. We're just going to start with our red onions. Throw those in, and we've got about, I'm going to say probably about 3 to 4 tablespoons of olive oil. And olive oil is a really good oil to even actually eat raw, so we're not going to do too much freaking out about, oh, it's too much oil, it's too much oil. It's not really that much of a big deal. We're going to go ahead and let these red onions cook just a little bit, but we want to make sure they get no color, because this is alicha, which means mild in Amharic, which is also the native tongue of Ethiopia. And the mild flavor is going to come from the curry and the turmeric powder. It's not spicy, but mild. Now that we've got our red onions cooking just a little bit, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the chopped ginger and garlic. Here I have, we're going to say 2.5 teaspoons of both garlic and ginger that has been pureed together. We want them all to get activated. We don't want to have a raw tasting dish. What I'm about to add to this is I'm going to add our curry powder. It's just a little bit, our turmeric, our cardamom, our salt, and a little bit of cumin. And as you can hear now, that favorite sound of mine, that sizzle, sizzle, manizzle. We've got that sizzle, manizzle going on. We've got really, really good color coming out of this dish. And that's one of the reasons why I chose this dish as well, is for its beautiful color. Look at that. You see how that turmeric is starting to get activated? And if you notice, it's not that oily because the olive oil has been absorbed by these spices. It's going to intensify everything else. I wish you guys could smell this. This smells so intense. All right, next we're going to add our lentils, and then we're going to add our vegetable broth. That's about 1.5 cups of lentils. And I like to let that heat just touch them just a little bit. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to probably add about, I'm going to add about 2.5 cups of water along with some vegetarian bouillon cubes. There's our water going in just like that. All right, let me tell you guys a little bit about this bouillon cube. Now you can buy all different types of bases in the store. You've got chicken base, you've got beef base, you've got lamb base, and you also have vegetarian base. What this means is it is basically vegetables that have been cooked and seasoned and has been reduced all the way down to where it actually becomes dry, and then it is made into a bouillon cube. You have different types of versions of vegetarian stocks. You've got liquid that you can buy as a stock. You've got bouillon cubes. You've even got paste and powder. I chose bouillon cubes because it's lighter and it dissolves quick, and I really just like the flavor. So we're going to throw that right in. Give it a little mashy mash to get it dissolved. All right, guys, now we're about to go into our dish number 3, which is called gomen wet. What gomen wet is it is collard greens, onions, potatoes, and carrots with some minced ginger and garlic, along with some olive oil. This dish can be compared to traditional southern greens, except it's going to be cooked really fast on the stove. It doesn't take hours to make, just long enough for the potatoes and carrots to get done. Now let me tell you the reason why I chose this dish. Number 1, for this nutritional value. This is another example of what I've been sharing with you guys about not overcooking your vegetables. And this is actually another greens recipe where you don't have to kill it and you can still maintain its nutritional value. So let's go right into this right now. Just going to start with our olive oil. We're going to go with our onions, and we're going to do quite a bit of onions in this dish, maybe about 1/2 cup. In Ethiopian cooking, specific dishes call for browning, and if you brown something that shouldn't be browned, then you've ruined the dish. So it's very important that no browning occurs with this dish. Now what we want to do is, what we're looking for is a culinary term called translucent. What translucent is when something like an onion has been cooked and it begins to take on a more clearer flavor or clearer color or clearer look. It moves away from its white and starts going more translucent or clear. So we're almost there with that. And now what we're about to do is we're about to add our garlic and ginger right inside there. Now, what I'm going to do, because cooking these collard greens is going to take a little bit of moisture, so we're going to add our water, our potatoes and carrots. So potatoes and carrots going in first. Get those going. And then we're going to add our collard greens and let that stew cook. There we are. While we're here, we're going to just peek in on our lentils. You see how those are starting to bubble up really nice and take on all that fantastic flavor? That's exactly what we want. We're going to turn up our heat just a little bit. But next what we're about to do is we're about to make the salad. Traditional Ethiopian salad is just tomatoes, jalapenos, red onions, and the dressing or vinaigrette is just olive oil, salt, pepper, and lemon juice. But before we do that, I want to tell you guys a little bit about the traditional Ethiopian bread and the way that you eat Ethiopian style food. The Ethiopian bread is called injera. Injera bread is a type of flat bread that is made by using teff flour and barley flour mixed together. It is left to ferment, and then it is cooked on a griddle at a low speed, or I'm sorry, at a low temperature, and then it is gently removed and it is cooled as a pancake-like or flatbread. It does have a sour taste that comes from the fermentation. Ethiopian food is also traditionally eaten with the hands. There are no utensils involved, just your hands. So right now what we're about to do is we're about to go into making the salad, and then I'm going to put all the food together because, again, traditional Ethiopian food is served on trays. It is for its communal type of effect, okay? Because Ethiopian food likes to involve the community. It's about family. It's about unity. So let's go right into this. Tomatoes, a little red onions, some cilantro, and some carrots. And we're just going to add a few of those in. Again, you know, just to give it color, to give it flavor. Throwing the tomatoes in. We're throwing in some carrots. And hey, there's also different types of vinaigrettes that you can make for this. You can use lemon juice and olive oil and salt and pepper. I've even had some dishes that were red wine vinegar was replaced with the lemon juice. But here again, we're keeping it traditional and we're going with the lemon juice. We got some purple cabbage going in there. We've got some cilantro leaves we're throwing in there. And our tomatoes. What I'm about to do now is just squeeze some fresh lemon juice in here. As you can see, we already have seeds ready, so we're just going to squeeze that in. We don't want those seeds to get in there, that's why I'm using my hand. We're just going to sprinkle that fresh lemon juice in there because I think lime juice has a bit more of a perfumey flavor. Just a drizzle of that olive oil there, and just a couple of twists of salt. And what we're going to do then is right before we plate this dish is then we're going to toss it up. So let's go into putting everything together so you can see how this Ethiopian cuisine is done. And hey, don't forget, I've got a special guest here today, Kadis, who's going to show us how to prepare traditional Ethiopian coffee. Now, when you're making tibs, you have to be mindful to cut the meat small enough so that when you put it on high flame, it gets done in a fast amount of time. Probably this dish should take no more than about 3 to 5 minutes to cook completely. Now what I'm about to do, because our chicken is cooked about, let's say 80%, what we're about to do now is just add just a little bit of our garlic and ginger mix. And we wanted to add it when it's 80% done so that we can make sure that it doesn't burn. Because now that we're adding our vegetables, that's going to bring down the temperature on the pan and keep everything from overcooking. Got some green peppers going in, some white onions. No jalapenos for the kiddos. We've got some red peppers just for some color. And believe it or not, this dish is almost done. Just want to stir it around. Do a little yellow in there. Again, these are mild peppers. They're not hot. We're just getting this in for the color, okay? Now we already have the main item plated up, this main dish. And now what I'm about to do is show you the sambusa. I'm doing a little something different because most sambusas don't come with the sauce. But what I've done is I've taken a waze, which is also a Ethiopian condiment that you see here. That is basically berbere, which is a traditional Ethiopian spice, some lemon juice, a little water, and a little oil. But what I did was I took a little bit more lemon juice and a little bit more olive oil and just made it just a little bit thinner so that we have something to sauce up our sambusa with. So let me just cut this open just so you can see what's going on the inside. See how that filling has made it nice and moist and just coming out looking really, really good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this on the plate. And then what I want to do, just for a little saucy continuity, is just drizzle a little bit of this owaze sauce. And that's just owaze with a little bit of olive oil and lemon juice. Guys, and as I told you, no Ethiopian cuisine is complete without its traditional coffee. And so what I've done today is I've got my friend Kadesh with me in the kitchen, who's going to show us exactly how it's done. Kadesh, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're going to be doing for us today.
Hi, my name is Kadesh. I'm from Ethiopia. Now I'm making Ethiopian traditional coffee ceremony. First, what we do is we roasted the beans and we ground it and we put it inside the jivana. This is the Ethiopian coffee, the pads, and we boiled it. So this is the traditional incense, and we serve it with the popcorn.
All right, guys. Hey, we have just wrapped up our season finale episode. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. My producers, thank you. I thank you. And most of all, we thank God for giving us this opportunity. Hey, you guys, stay tuned here. Next season is going to start in the spring on WBNA Channel 21. That's Down and Out with Chef K. I'm coming with new ideas. Hey, and who knows where I'll be traveling to next. So don't miss it and stay tuned. Don't forget to check out my website. I'm going to load up this on the website. I know I've got a lot of people who want to see this. So, hey, also I've got some other surprises. So hit up my Facebook page. I love you guys. Peace. See you next season.